So what we'll do is we'll go through just a quick agenda. We'll give you an introduction to Eureka Solutions, who we are, a bit about the background of iplicit in terms of a solution for software and tech companies. We'll go through a bit about how iplicit can help with some of the challenges that are faced by software and tech companies. And then we'll go into an actual demonstration of the software and a bit about how we bring that to life in the demonstration. So my name's Tom McEntee. I'm an account manager here at Eureka Solutions, looking after our iplicit side in terms of looking after customers and new business sales for iplicit. So thank you all for joining this morning. As I said, really good to have you here today. If there are any questions, guys, as we go through, please use the chat facility that's there. We'll try and get to those at the end. Anything we can't answer, of course, will get answered for you, but should be able to answer most questions. So any questions at all, guys, please fire them into the chat and we will get to them at the end of the session today. So as I say, we'll start with a bit about Eureka Solutions and who we are as a business and what we've kind of done in terms of software. So Eureka, we've been successfully implementing cloud-based business solutions for well over 15 years now. And we were founded on two core principles that still run to this day. And those are technical expertise of our staff across all of our solutions, whether that be iplicit, whether it be some Sage solutions, whether it be NetSuite or Basincly as well. We're also, our core founding principle of the business is customer service, and that runs through the whole kind of process at Eureka, from things like today, for the pre-sales process, all the way through to implementation, all the way through to our support team as well at Eureka Solutions. So we provide the implementation and support of iplicit. So we would help with the data migration, the user training, the setup and configuration of iplicit, the whole scoping of the project, and we would also fully support the system going forward. So any issues that you've got day to day, anything that props up, anything that you need added, our support team will be on hand to make sure everything's sorted for you on a day-to-day basis. So very much a hands-on kind of support partner for iplicit as well. And we also have our own integration application as well called Basincly. So we've been a developer for products over a number of years. And our latest product is Basincly, which is a cloud-based integration platform that can connect your accounting system like iplicit to outside third-party solutions. Now that could be an e-commerce store, it could be a WMS solution, it could be a subscription solution, it could be whatever. We can set, if there is an API there, we can use Basincly to link up your ERP system, your accounting solution to third-party systems. So we've actually grown massively over the piece. We started in 1996 and we've grown from 3 staff back in 2004 to over 70 today. Staff across sales, implementation, as we've said, software support, and financials as well. So we've organically grew over the years to become a partner for iplicit, which we'll look at today. And the majority of our staff have actually in technical roles. So for example, I used to work on the support team at Eureka Solutions before coming into more the sales and account management side. So it comes back again to our two founding principles of technical expertise and customer service. So everyone has got a good technical knowledge of the products and what we provide, but also customer service is at the heart of what we do. And that is really just underpinned by our customer sure rating. So what is this? So anytime that a customer support case is closed at Eureka Solutions, so anytime that our support team look after one of the cases that's raised, an anonymous survey is sent to the customer to fill out just about the service that they received on that case. And we're currently sitting at 9.7 out of 10 for our customer satisfaction. Now, we have no control over that. Of course, we don't have any control over what people say. So 9.7 out of 10 is certainly something we can be proud of and always looking to improve on as well. So that's just a little bit of background about Eureka Solutions. And now we'll go into a bit of background on iplicit as a solution. So we are a proud partner of iplicit. So we, as I've said, do the implementation of the system. We can do the support of the system. But let's get an actual background on iplicit themselves. Of course, us being the partner, let's have a look at iplicit as a solution and where they've kind of came from. So it's cutting edge true cloud accounting software. So we say true cloud, it is fully in the cloud. So we can access this via Google Chrome, we can access this via mobile app. So there's different ways that we can access the system. And that is because it's a true cloud solution, which is important and different from the likes of Sage 50 and some of the starter solutions that are out there. This is a full true cloud solution. And it was built off the back of years and years, over 30 years of industry experience of the team that actually built Exchequer, which is a really successful on-premise solution. And now they've turned to look into full cloud solutions and came with iplicit. So it's designed specifically for businesses and kind of finance professionals that are slightly limited by our on-premise or maybe even starter cloud solutions. For example, maybe QuickBooks Zero, which are great solutions, but are maybe just limited by the functionality in there, or maybe are just looking to get to that next stage, but without maybe going to that full-fledged enterprise level ERP system, which can take a lot of time to implement, and of course from a budgetary point of view as well. And that's just kind of highlighted here. So it's designed for a quicker adoption of the solution in terms of getting from sale to being live with the solution. So the implementation process is generally quicker than it would be for, say, an enterprise level solution. So we can get you from A to B a lot quicker, and that's due to the implementation process that we would provide. But we'd still go through that full implementation process of training and making sure you're ready to go. And it's been used by over 700 organisations across the globe, actually. So it's not just in the UK. We've got users using the system all over the world. So thousands and thousands of users actually using the system across those 700 plus organisations that are using the software. And that's across a variety of different industries. Of course, we'll actually look at the probably more software and tech industry today, but it could be for charities, it can move into other business types as well. We'll look at that in a wee second. So it's not just me kind of talking about iplicit and how good it is. It is an award-winning software and a lot of recent awards as well in terms of its kind of growth and stature as a solution. So you can see here some of the awards that iplicit's won very, very recently, just to show its reputation within the space. So what is iplicit in terms of a solution then? So it's really all encompassing, and it's shown here by this quite nice diagram, which just shows some of the different functionality and capabilities that are in iplicit. So in terms of projects, it's got that in there. It's got multi-dimensional GL, which we'll look at in the demonstration, automated payables and receivables, an automation center to automate tasks, which again we'll look at when we come into the demonstration, and also some great elements for software and tech companies, which we'll come into now. So this diagram just gives us a good idea of what's included. And again, we'll touch on some of these points a little bit later on in the webinar this morning, but this just gives a good feel for what's in there. So an all-encompassing solution, but of course can be tailored to a different business environment, a different industry, and different requirements that each business may have. So that leads us into actually looking at what we're here for today in terms of looking at iplicit for software and tech businesses, and how can iplicit help with some of the business challenges that are posed for software and tech companies. And as being a software provider, support specialist, that we've got a good background of what some of those challenges actually may be. So the first one comes from a more finance point of view, and it's dealing with deferred income and revenue recognition. This is something that kind of starter solutions and maybe some on-premise solutions can struggle with in terms of being able to handle that efficiently and effectively. So what does this mean? So in iplicit, we've got lots and lots of ways that we can deal with deferred income and revenue recognition. And what does that do for the organisation? Well, it reduces time that's spent using manual Excel spreadsheets. So it's probably going to be quite common for businesses that are maybe using the kind of starter solutions for like the likes of Xero's, the likes of QuickBooks, maybe Sage 50, to be using spreadsheets to deal with deferred income. So when we are charging for something that's not yet been earned. Everything in iplicit will be real time and give you accurate information across the whole organisation. And as I say, everything can be automated within iplicit, and we'll see that in practice when we actually come to put on some of the sales invoices that need to deal with deferred income and revenue recognition. Everything can be automated so that the journals are all created automatically for you, and everything's split across the time period that you choose. It's also got really, really powerful analytics, dashboards, and reporting. It's a key feature of iPlicit in terms of being able to get the information that you need very easily in a visual format and easy to inquire on as well. It's something that we touched on in our last webinar where we looked at moving from on-premise solutions, where iPlicit really, really comes to the fore in terms of that analytical side of being able to run dashboards, reports, inquiries, views that are all very amendable by the user as well. So it's really easy to get the information that's really important to you and slice and dice that information in the way that's most fit for your business and business needs. So as we said there, iPlicit comes full with drillable views and inquiries, and that's across lots of different areas of the business. So it's not just for one simple area. You've got views and inquiries all across the system. So really easy to inquire on, really easy to get the information that you need. There's out-the-box dashboards and inquiries already made for you in iPlicit, which is great, and they're really all-encompassing. So it's going to be really likely that you've already got the information and reports, dashboards that you actually need out the box without any kind of intervention to those. But the good thing as well is you can then start to customize those dashboards and reports and inquiries to make it more your own. And that can come from yourself because it's really self-service, or it can come from our team who are more than happy to help in terms of molding those dashboard reports and inquiries to what you need. And there's also easy links to Excel as well. Now, as kind of finance professionals and working in the industry, we know that Excel is probably going to be here to stay a lot. Of course, we want to try and get everything that we can into the system and make it more system based. But Excel is always going to be probably at the forefront of accounting teams up and down the country and across the world, probably. So there is easy links to Excel in terms of getting everything out into Excel from iPlicit and also importing from Excel into the system as well, just to make sure you've got that kind of one-stop shop. Also with Excel, it actually extends an iPlicit to full Excel links where you can run actual tables, reports within Excel as well. So there's actually an extended Excel tool, which goes further than just exporting information out. So there's really nice, easy links to Excel. And it's, as we said, it's a true cloud platform. So that's probably one of the main things, one overarching things that's going to benefit, even from a software and tech point of view. Everything's automatic and seamless in terms of the upgrade process. So we touched again on this before in a kind of previous webinar where we looked at moving into the cloud. But some of those advantages that you get are overarching over a number of different industries, including the software and tech space. So automatic and seamless upgrades are a great thing because it just means you don't need to worry about, oh, am I on the latest version of the software? When do I need to upgrade? How much is that going to cost? How long is that going to take? How much upheaval is that going to cause the staff, cause day-to-day business? So everything's automatically upgraded and it's really, really seamless. You'll be notified and we'll have a wee look at some of those latest release notes when we come on to the demonstration in a wee second. Can actually access the system from anywhere. So anywhere, anytime, as long as it's a web browser, but there's also the mobile app as well for iPlicit. So there's a full app for iPlicit in terms of being able to log on, look at some of those dashboards that we've created for our business and have a good idea of the business out and about. So there's the mobile app to be able to put in timesheets, for example, put in purchase requisitions, and do lots and lots from within the app itself. And of course, being web browser based, it means you can actually access the system with any kind of internet connection. So anywhere you are in the world, anywhere you are, you might be sitting on a train, you might be at a customer site, you may be on site doing an implementation, you've always got access to iPlicit and the data within there. And as we touched on before with Basincly, our cloud-based integration platform, the APIs from iPlicit lend itself brilliantly to using a platform like Basincly to be able to link your accounting system with third-party systems you might be using, for example, for project management, or as we said before, an e-commerce store. So there's loads of different ways that we can integrate the system iPlicit with loads of different outside third-party systems, and that could be using Basincly to do that integration for you. So we've developed a connector for Basincly for iPlicit, and that can link to third-party systems really, really seamlessly, which means that you've got a more joined-up solution rather than having lots of disparate systems and doing a lot of manual rekeying into maybe 3 or 4 different systems. We can certainly, with iPlicit's powerful APIs and with Basincly, you can start to join those up and making life a whole lot easier and saving a whole lot of time as well. Alrighty, so went through a kind of bit of a background then about Eureka Solutions and our experience putting in cloud-based solutions. We've looked at a little bit about iplicit, its background, and some of the challenges that software and tech companies actually might face when using an accounting solution. So without further ado, then we'll actually get in and have a little look at iplicit then. So I'll just scroll across to here, and we can see we are now in a web browser. I'm using Google Chrome today to look at iplicit. So we'll just quickly log in. We'll try and move this up so it doesn't get in the way. And we'll log into the system. So I'll just log into my account. And here we are logged into iplicit. Now, you can see I automatically logged in. There's ways we can set up two-factor authentication. So when I logged in this morning, I used an app to get to use an authenticator to get into the system. So that can all be set up within your settings. So we'll just go through a bit of the usability of iplicit for those who've maybe not seen the software before we get into some more kind of nitty-gritty around like deferred income and things. So we'll just have a quick view around the system. Now you can see that when I've opened the system this morning, I've been presented with this lovely age debt dashboard. Now this is an example of some of the dashboards that are out the box with iplicit. Now I've chose to make this my home screen. I've chose that the age debt dashboard is something that I'm really interested in at the organisation. Now it might be that you are working with orders, it may be you're working within the GL, it may be you're working within income revenue recognition. So you might want a slightly different dashboard or a slightly different home screen. It doesn't need to be a dashboard that appears on the screen when you first log in. It could be whatever you want it to be. But I went for the age debt dashboard this morning, looking at some of our age debt within the business. And these dashboards are really good for giving us a visual representation of what's going on within the business. So we can change these, we can interrogate them, we can make them bigger, we can make them smaller, and really get in and start to slice and dice the data. So as I say, it doesn't need to be a dashboard that you come into, but we can go into here and have a look at some of the dashboards that we've got. So we've got the same sort of thing for age creditors, we've got some client revenues, and the great thing about here is you can see that we've got some copied ones. We can easily copy a dashboard and make some amendments within there to make it our own. So see, we've got lots and lots within here, product revenue, sales analysis, and we'll come on to look at the sales order and income recognition as we go as well. And it's really, really easy to get about iplicit. You can see here at the top kind of toolbar all the different things that we saw in the diagram and the presentation. So there's loads and loads that's encapsulated within iplicit, and we'll get even more behind this ellipsis here, where we can look at analytics and client reporting. We've got sales, purchases, the general ledger, and we'll come on to look at some of these as we go. As I say, really easy to navigate the system, so we can use a global search bar. This is a really easy way to get to information that we know we want. So it could be we're going to look for a purchase invoice, it could be we need to look for a customer account, maybe a supplier account. So we can use a global search to search the whole of iplicit in one simple search. Other things that are up this top kind of left-hand side, well, we can actually change a bit about our settings. So I talked about security there. We can set up two-factor authentication from within here. So we can see here I've got password. I've also got the authenticator switched on. So I can set it up to be as secure as needed. So you've got full control over who's accessing the system and when. I've also got a help bar here. So if I go into the help and just have a quick look, we can see we're automatically presented with the dashboard help page. That's because we were looking at a dashboard from within iplicit. So the help pages are really good just to get quick information in terms of where. See, we've got a question there. I'll come to that at the end of the session if that's okay. So as I said, we're in the dashboard help page. So really good if you want to get some quick information and some quick learning from where you're in iplicit. Now, of course, our support team will be there for any questions day to day. So don't worry about always having access to the information that you need. But the help pages are just really good for each. I've went onto the dashboard, which is undergoing sort of a bit of development at the moment. But there's lots and lots from within here. So you can see sales, purchases, stock. But the real reason I actually came in here is to have a wee look at the releases for iplicit. So you can see here that I talked about in the presentation beforehand about automatic and seamless upgrades. Well, the software's constantly been added to and constantly been upgraded. So you can see here within 2023, we've had around 4 different releases, just adding in different layers of functionality to iplicit. Now, again, as we said, one of the benefits of being on a full cloud solution and being with iplicit is that the automatic upgrades and the upgrade process doesn't involve booking in time. It doesn't involve booking in any consultancy time. It doesn't involve any extra expense. You're always going to be on that latest version and always going to have access to the functionality that's been brought out with the latest version of iplicit. So that's just a bit about the upcoming releases and how simple it is to stay on the latest version of the software. So coming back into the program itself, one of the main things that we said is great about iplicit is the different inquiries and views. So we've looked at a little bit about some of the dashboards. So if I just come into our general ledger, for example, and I'll just have a look. So I'll just come down here and I can show you different ways that we could get there. So I've just went through the top toolbar. If I actually just wanted to see our chart of accounts, I could just type in here. Similarly, if I wanted to see customers, I can easily type in this search bar at the side. Really, really powerful way for getting around, especially when you're first using the software and maybe don't know the way of the different ways of going through the menus. So this is a really good way of just getting around the system without too much trouble. So I can go into a chart of accounts and I'll have a look at some of our chart of account codes. Now, we'll come on and look at this in a wee bit more detail as we look at the kind of deferred income side, but this is really just a quick way of how I can show you how you can slice and dice the data that you see from within these lists. So we're looking at our tree view of our nominal accounts at the moment, but we could look at just our open accounts. We could look at recently looked at accounts. So, for example, the subscriptions that we'll look at later. But we can actually create our own sort of views from within here as well. So if I just wanted to look at certain information, so for example, just a group of purchase nominal accounts or general ledger accounts, you can certainly do that. You can easily copy these and make our own. So for example, I can copy, the wrong button there, just come in and copy. We can then name this whatever we want it to be. So Tom's view. And we can start to build the views up as and when we see it. And that's across not just the general ledger, but that's across everywhere in iplicit, where you can really start to tailor your views and filter the information in a way that suits you best. So if we just come into, just staying with the general ledger, we'll come and look at a P&L, and this will probably take that to the next level in terms of how we can then start to look at slicing and dicing some of the data and how drillable this is. So I've got a P&L here. Of course, we can run the P&L and balance sheet straight from iplicit, and it's really, really flexible in terms of what you can do with the software. So we've got it in this view at the moment where you can see our months, we can see our periods, we can see our different nominal accounts, but we could change that view and look at it per legal entity. Of course, iplicit can deal with multiple legal entities and consolidate those where needed. So we've got more than one legal entity set up within iplicit at the moment. So we could split our P&L by legal entity, could actually split it by cost centre, which could do it by department as well. And we can start to change these views how and as we see it. So for example, we could pull our department code in, just a simple drag and drop, and we can see that we've actually just changed the whole view of this P&L to add in some of our branches and some of our department codes. But similarly, if I was looking at the financial year view, again, I can do the exact same thing. I can bring across a department, but I can actually say I want it to show as a row, and we can start to see that all coming in here. If I wanted it to be a call, absolutely fine. We could do it that way as well. So really, really easy way to slice and dice your information and get the data into the format that you need it. And the great thing as well about this, so if I just come into the legal entity view just to show us more, we can drill into those figures straight away from an iplicit. So if I go into this value from the P&L, I can start to see the invoices that are making up that number as well. So everything's really drillable. And from here as well, as I can go to customer account, I can go to the document type, I can actually drill down straight to the invoice and actually go and have a look at the invoice as well. And from there, I can see any attachments that are with the invoice. I could see any linked records to the invoice. I can see that's came from a sales order. So within a couple of clicks, we went from a P&L straight down to a sales order and invoice that's made up on the profit and loss. So you can see how flexible and how easy it is to navigate and drill into information, which is something that can be quite difficult in some of the starter solutions and some on-premise solutions where you're maybe running traditional reports, and once you've got it, you need to then decipher the information from there. All righty. So I'll just come out here just now, and we'll look at probably then one of the one of the key benefits of implicit for software and tech companies, and that was looking at deferred income. So if I just pop into our sales, and I'll just quickly go into our invoices, and what we'll do is we'll go through a very simple example of how this can work on implicit. If I just pop on a new sales invoice, for example, so you can see here we've got lots of different document types that come up. So we can set up document types in the beginning with implicit. So it might be you have a different kind of invoice for a different situation. So we've got standard, we've got an intercompany sale, we've got ones set up here for a freelance client refund, we've got ones for sale disbursements. We're just going to go for a standard invoice just now. So we'll just pop this on and we can choose our customer. So I'll pop in a customer and I'll just say this is for a software subscription, 12 months. What I'll do is I can then add in our subscription line. So we've got to set up a product in the background for £100 a month subscription. And what you can see already is we've now got a deferred line on our sales invoice. Now, where is that actually being derived from? Where's that coming from at line level? So you can see here the accounts is set for subscriptions. So as we say, we can easily drill into any information that we've got in implicit. So I've just used the control key there to then have a look at our subscriptions GL code. So we could have went through our tree that we looked at before, but I've actually just went from creating an invoice straight on to looking at our GL code. You can see here we've got some ways that we can set up our nominal codes. And of course, we would certainly help with this in making sure that everything was coded correctly. But we can see here we've got our deferred and prepayment checkbox tick. That just means that any time that this goes on to like a sales invoice, we know it can be eligible for deferred, it can be eligible for deferred income. Right, so we can see here we've got chart of account rules as well. So have a look at that when we go back to the sales invoice, where we've actually got rules around what we need to populate when we're coding any invoice or any transaction to that general ledger code. So if I just come back in, it's really easy to get back to our invoice from there. So as I say, if we did need to branch out our invoice in any way to go and see information, whether that be the customer, in this case we went and looked at a GL code. You can see here something that these chart of account rules then starting to come to the fore. Because a department is required, I must put in a department when I'm coding to this GL code. Must put a resource in, salesperson. But you can see here we've now got the option to defer this income. So we're going for a straight line 12 months, but we can set up different profiles in the background for the different schedules that you want to create. So we've got loads out of the box here, for example, Scottish quarters, straight line. We're just going for a simple kind of 12 months. So if I just pop in the unit price, I'll just put this across, and I'll just pop in the 12 months and tab through. You can see here when we submit this invoice, I could pop it in as a draft. I'm just going to submit this invoice. Just wait for that to submit. And then what will happen, we can then look at what's actually going to happen with that invoice. So that's all been submitted. And if I just go back to our sales invoices and have a little refresh, you can see here it's just going through the kind of posting process. But if I just pop in here and have a look at actually what's happened with this invoice. So we can see here we've now got a deferred tab because we've coded it as deferred income, and we can have a look at what's happening. Now you can see that iplicit is automatically set based on your deferred schedule. It's automatically carried out the deferment for you, and you can see it's across the next 12 months, £100 for each 12 months. So it's really, really simple. And what's actually doing that, and what's actually getting this to work, and it's automation center within implicit. So if we just come and look at automations, this is the heartbeat of how this can be done so quickly and easily. In our automations, we can automate lots of things within implicit. It's not just for deferred income, it could be for intercompany transactions that we kind of touched on. We just come in here, we can see our deferred income. This just means that when we post a deferred income transaction, it'll automatically do the postings for us based upon what we tell the system. So if I just pop back in here and look at this, this is a really simple example. If I just We can see here now that I've refreshed, we can actually then get access to the journals that it's going to create. And of course, over time, when we run the automation, it will keep creating those journals for you. So really, really simple at month end to be able to access the journals that we need and all posted to the right accounts that you select. So if I just pop back in, you can see here again that it's all been done for you through iplicit's automation centre. Now, this is a really simple example where it's just on £100 per month subscription, but this can work in a variety of different circumstances and ways. So if I just pop back into the sales invoice, and I'll just search for one just now. So let's just have a look at invoice 48192. It's a really easy way that we can search. I don't think that's actually there, so I've put the wrong one in. Apologies. We'll just pop back in, take this out, and we'll just have a look at one of our invoices. So if I just pop down here, and we'll have a look at this invoice, for example, another deferred revenue. Now you can see this is a bit more in depth. So if I just pop this up, we can see a bit more about the line detail on this transaction. We can see we've got lots of different schedules for our deferred income. It's not just that £100 per month subscription, but iplicit will deal with that in the exact same way. So you can see here we've got ones that are every 6 months, per 12 months. So let's just have a look. So we'll just pop this back out and we can see, go back into our deferred tab and see what's going on here. So we can see, even though we've got lots of different deferment schedules, it's all just going to work the same way. And as I said, iplicit's automation centre will clearly run those journals for you in the background. So everything's done for you automatically. So no need for me to go out to Excel and try and do that nightmare month-end process to marry this all up at month-end. It's all already done for you within iplicit. And how can we actually look at some of the data, transaction data we've put in? That then comes back to our inquiries, it comes back to our dashboards. So if I just come out of here just now, we can run some of our inquiries. So if I come to our analytics section, you can see here we've got inquiries, we've got reports, we've got dashboards, again highlighting the numerous ways that we can get data out of the system, and not just data out of the system, but actually viewing that data in a way that suits us best. So if I have a look at some of our inquiries, I'll just do a quick refresh on those. We can actually look at our deferred income analysis. So have a look here and just refresh this. We can start to slice and dice that data we've put in the system and actually see how that's been made up over the number of periods or the number of months. And we can look into the future as well in terms of our deferment. So we've got it by customer, but we could also do this by product. So we looked at our £100 a month subscription. We can see that reflected in 2024 for the time it's coming up. So that will all accumulate and show within this inquiry. So really easy way to see that transaction level we've put into the system within a nice inquiry scheme. It could be by project, so we can link this to the projects module within iplicit, and we can also see this by recognition status. So what has been unrecognised so far, so we can have a look at all the different information that we've got there through all the different years, all the different periods that you've been posting to. So that's another way that we can show this information, not just within the line level, but also feeds through to our inquiries. And the same can be said for our dashboards as well, where we can have a look at some of our sales order dashboards. So for example, I might want to run the sales order and income recognition. And we can see that information that we had from within an actual dashboard layout. Now you can of course tailor these, we can create these for you for exactly how you want to look at them. We've got lots within this one. We can scroll around the screen, we can make some of the information bigger. But it's again just showing you how you can easily report from within the system and get the information out that you need. So that's a really quick whistle-stop tour of deferred income and how that can work from within the system. But we saw there with our inquiries that we've got lots and lots that we can do from within here, and that comes to show more about the reporting within iplicit. So that's one of the things we touched on in the presentation, having that level of reporting within the system. Now we've dipped in and out of it, but as you can see here, there's an absolute plethora of inquiries that you can run across sales, across purchases, across projects. There's lots and lots of out-the-box reporting that you can run. And again, that's all fully drillable. We looked at the P&L as a good example of that. But another example might be, for example, our age debt. So if we looked in looked at our age debt. So if we just come into our debt at the top here, we can look at our age debt. So we can have a wee look at age debt in loads of different ways. Now, this is just one example because I think age debt's a really good example of showing all the different ways that you can access information from within iPlicit. So we could look at it through our views that we've looked at in terms of by customer, by legal entity, by customer group, by classifications, but we could also run inquiries as well in terms of running this exactly what we want. So again, we can change the columns from within here. So we could add in departments, we could add in customer code, we could add in credit limit, whatever's going to suit you best. And as we say, we can easily drill from within here to actually see what's making that up. So I could go into Advac and see those invoices that have been made up. I could then drill straight to the invoice and actually have a look at what's going on here as well. We can see any allocations that have been made, and we can of course see the related records as well. This one's got no links, but we can easily get to the information that we want. So we looked at it from a P&L perspective, but now looking at it from a kind of age debt perspective, and that's the same way across the system. And the good thing is implicit, everything that you've been to is always going to be stored at this left-hand side. So I'll just clean this up a wee bit at the moment, and we will pop away there just now. Just get all of these away just to clean up the system, and again you can come back to your dashboards. So that was a quick whistle stop tour of some of the reporting capabilities that you can get from iPlicit. And I suppose the last thing that we looked at, so we've looked at deferred income, we've now looked at kind of reporting within iPlicit and sort of the powerful dashboards that we've got. And as I said, probably the other main reason that we've got to move to iPlicit for software and tech companies is that we're fully in the cloud. So we looked at the security of being within the system. We looked at some of the reports that can come from the system, so you don't need to run them. You don't need to run them and then a storage. And we've looked at how easy it is to get within to get around the system. All righty. So I think we've got some questions. So I'll just run to those just now. What I'll do is I'll just tap that. All right. Yeah, so we've got a question here. Does iPlicit come with multi-currency and multi-company? Absolutely does. So I think I'd answered that question as we went through, as we kind of went through. So I'll answer it directly now. So of course you can run as many currencies as you need from within iPlicit. So we've dealt a lot in pounds today and GBP, but you can run euros, US dollars, whatever currency you need to run in. Now, multi-currency, multi-company as well. So we saw when we're running our age debt, for example, or when we're running a P&L was a great example. So if we just go back to our general ledger and pop into our P&L, you can see here all the different legal entities. So we could run this we've got Primus Company, we've got Primus Trust, we've got rentals and subscriptions. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. All multi-currency and multi-entity as well. And you can, of course, do consolidation within those to consolidate your P&L. So it's for the whole group structure. So I hope that answers your question on that one. Okay, I'm just saying, I don't know if there's any other questions so far. I'll just pop back. So that was a very quick whistle-stop tour through iPlicit this morning, looking at some of the benefits for software and tech companies. Thank you very much for joining us. Of course, if there are any questions, please do feel free to ask. And of course, if you want a full kind of demonstration of iPlicit based on your needs, based on your full requirements, please do get in touch. We'll be more than happy to set up demonstrations and answer any questions that are specific for your business. If there are no questions, once again, thank you very much for joining us this morning. And as I say, anything that you do need me for, the contact details are there. So please do get in touch if you want to find out more about iPlicit or want to set up more a further session. As I say, any questions, please do ask. I'll be here for the next 10 minutes or so. If there's any questions, please pop them in the chat. And if not, thank you very much for joining us this morning and have a lovely end to the day. Thank you.